servant of the house of Saul, to whom I can show kindness for Jonathan's sake. Don't be afraid. David said to him, for I will surely show you kindness for the sake of your father Jonathan. I will restore to you all the land that belonged to your grandfather Saul, and you will always eat at my table. Now David can say, so obi da so wo ho a waka no Saul fi na Jonathan ti menya na doye. Na David ka kire anu say ensuro na waja Jonathan ti meya wo adoye. Na medan waja Saul Asaase nyina mama na wadidi me pon so dey. Hallelujah. Odofo ba kai say last week me ka kire say the Lord will surely show you unusual kindness. Unusual kindness. Adoya ebinka na ebro adwene ene nti aseso. Bosumi Mr. Ewurade onomo adoya ebinka onfa nipa bi so na onomo sa na nia eya wode no onyame nsanfa nomo onyame pe ene betimi aye David tinase na ebo don woni kuma mu se onye Saul fi obi papa Jonathan ti Mr. Ewurade anopai mere bompa ya ma obi o wunti wo ba bi a wo ahokirim wo nua bi a wo ahokirim wo kafo a wo ahokirim Ewurade ma obi nkoya ne papa mante amen. Wajanti wonanti wompai bonti wonyamisronti odo a wodo nipanti onyame nka obi koma na omeye wufi adoy na no ena abranti bi a wofra ni Siba kan se minim Jonathan baby a owolo ba na mo oyo yarefo ne nsa de ne nan nyina ontimi mfa anya hwe na no ena ne tekrema na odidi echidan ka Ewurade se eyi ambu David abem Ewurade nsomo aboafo bi bosumi yi na omra wasetenam meminim ni anyame timi yo. Oh God, anope mi bompai ema nipa bi a onyame ka won koma na woyɛ me adɔe Jesus esrempai na me hyira Ewurade ema wo na wo Yesu ti na no na wɔkɔfa Mephibosheth bai ɔba ɔse ɔkraman funu bi te sɛ me ɛwɔ nhwɛ sɛ ne amete ɔhwɛ ne ama abrabɔ ayɛ nanso David kan si nsuro anɔpɛ me ka kyerɛ wo honhom ɛne wo kra si me nsuro ka boriandala bataya lebine min ka buake ka hyɛbɛye si Yehowa eba fi Yehowa ata mokotwiye ye bodi ante ɔsoba hewo ɔkya soba hewo ɔnya soba hewo ni moko aba drobo ne kami hyɛko aba wolele na Yehowa ba fi osi weja Jonathan meyewa brofo no eya me brofo no si osi for I will surely show you kindness osi I will restore you na weja nsase nyina mesa da ama na obedidi o me ponso me na obedidi Mr. Ewurade se eyi nti ye papa wate na daache nhire bi akɔ ma so ema wuti monyete fa bɔne kyɛ hyire obi mo bi nka nkyerɛ wo se onyame nhyira wo mo bi nka se sɛ nya wo ya nka me bɛyɛ ankosuku kai bruhandala babe anɔpɛ I pray that the Lord God shall surely show you kindness. My uncle Yamiani, Yamompa, Wayaboko, Niatola, yes, Wayaboko, Niatola, Mizana, Wayaboko, Niatola, yes. This morning, thank God. May you celebrate His goodness. Thank God for your life. This morning, may your faith be increased. No matter what you are going through, pray and ask the Lord God to show you unusual kindness, uncommon kindness, unexpected kindness. He's still the same yesterday, today, and forever. And obey order for the radias. Emma unkwa any abusiano. Na mawujidi and kosoro. Na bompa kacho nyamiso nyame. Ma wahad toy a ibinka. Emra meso, emra mifiso, me baby so. Ye nuanu wa kwentu, won krata sam, won adwuma sam, won abrabɔ. Ye wo Ghana ha, onyame ma wa doya ibinka bi emra meso. Etore bi no bi frɛ me. Wo papa me da ase, me sa kamin krata sam na mani nda. Wo kan se bi san fan kotum, me bi akotum. nsi nyame yɛ kɛse ɛdu so yɛda wase yɛyi wa yɛkamfo na yɛhyɛ wo din kronkron no animonyam anɔpɛ wasɛm nti papa yɛni awie gye na yɛn nkoma atɔ yɛn woyɛ ɔnokwafo anɔpɛ papa wasɛm nti papa bɛdom yɛn nea wapa aba na nidaso nyinaa sa awurade ma wadɔyɛ a ebi nka papa mmra ne so nea ɔyare ma wadɔyɛ ebi nka mmra ne so ma ne ngu yi dɔkta bi ma no papa yi ɔduruyafo bi ma no ma wadɔyɛ ebi nka yɛn nuanom a papa wɔ labour ward ɛma obi ngu ne bɔ mpae ɛma ne bɛ ngu ma obiara ho mfa ne ma bɔsɔme nkona akwantu yehowa ɛyi kabroi anɔpɛ bi bɔ mpae yɛde yɛn charges fo hyɛ wo nsa ɛbere a ti sɛ yi papa ma unusual favour unusual kindness mmra wɔn so ma wɔn bo nye du ma wɔn nsuro nipa anim lawyer fo hyɛ wo nsa ɛbere yɛ bɔ mpae yɛ mma papa wɔde ba abɛkɔ sukuu yɛde wɔn hyɛ wo nsa ɛde wɔn a wɔkɔ dedaw unusual kindness Lord favour them so ɔbaatan bi papa nea ɛde bɛma ne ba akɔ sukuu sɛ yɛ university sɛ yɛ SS papa ma adɔyi bi ɛnna ɛdi wɔn so a ebi nka papa wadɔyi a ebi nka nti bia ware kwan bi ɛma ɔbɛ bi ma yafuru kotoku bia no emu yɛ na awo bi ɛnna ɛdi yɛn nua no a wakwantu papa eyi nkrataa asɛm nti obi da so nim baabi a wa ɔde obi nkrataa yɛ adwuma na akwantu mu papa mi bɔ mpa yehowa abiremu wa unusual favour unusual kindness ma ɔpo bi mie ma wɔn mo nyam hyɛ bi nadi wɔn aware sɛm wɔn mma hwɛm wɔn asetena mu papa ma bosomi ɛnya bosomi pama yɛ amira mu sa yɛwurade yesu kristo nti ɛne nti anɔpɛ yi nea ɔtumi yɛ mɛboro adwene ɛne nte ase so ne din ne jesus ɔnyɛ mɛboro wɔ adwene ɛne ɔnte ase so ɔnhyira wo ɔntew n'anim nkyerɛ wo ɔma nsi wo yie ɛdin ne yɛ ɔsɔfo kofi ma ɛne kure akyɛmpɔ anɔpɛ ma bɛsra wo sorɔ foforɔ ma me na ka kyerɛ ne sɛ onyame ɔbɛyɛ n'adɔyɛ a ebi nka amen.
Just the radio and TV. Abeiku Santana, watch a trend some no. Oh, Basani. Sorry, defense and some will be a sympathy. Tani Ebeya, make some some Kosua, my soup. Medima Fidi and Akoto, Kings, just see radio. The Padam Senti, Mediato, King, just TV, so. I honor Memuru Seb, Asamaya Kenyina, Yano Pari Todo. Say a politics, Yatoya was a church, some of the fair. Near one Homading, and in your mind is a grato. Seba o my num samsoa yakukom miami akodwe de ekoso ni pasitemu wa brabomu ani ni eko ni ebo awaresemu ajumasemu akwanya wo bafasoa ubedie anopa drive time show and you may so you even drive na weekend digest so ya de bema every weekend say about nyamia samsoa yatujuma de bibi shamu didie pasie de numrebia sajuma die ya de shisha suo ya makwai wajuma die no so adventure you ready comment kids just radio and TV we are here to serve you better together we can build. Alright, Ebusiafo, your mama yina ache, mama ha, mama Joe, mama Kwabadeba, your number one station in America, Ken Jersey Radio and TV Sabre. Yeda oyan kropong twediampong Kwame Basaya Damasibebre. Adom adoye enhwesopano ne bambo wama sabre mene omienu ya dia ho adepa bi achiyan emoje die mu afrusane na tachemada abodweme ne ye kanise aseda enka ewurade din ewone awaya amaye anopei medawase se wonso wadwane yen yemfa aseda so ma Reverend Kofi Menukure Echampon se wama no ho kwan
na ewurade na me so de Asempa na brain me bompa se obi enye wadoye ose esa obi wo ho a waka ewo Saul fie a enti enam Jonathan ti me ye na doye na may you witness this in your life ewo Yesu de mo na pai nsem mebre ena yebedi hu abobo titru ne ekoso ewo Parliament House na Kwame Bediako ne Parliament House ayedeja na edika mamemfa abrano na kobrate wi atikase na yehwe de yakọ abrano no machi o
ofan pacha mejo so
atisan
ofan pacha gena dawroman ofan biabo ofan pacha na so
obo de dawroman yeso ye hoya pa na eku abrano ho ye
ofa sisi ambodi e why no me no catch person ofan ho ye pa wa hyehyɛ so kan
edi asem kura ni abrana na obana wo ba wa no wa hyehyɛ wa hyehyɛ se edwafo ka
ofan ho ye femo I feel more
as edwafo ka
ofan pa sa pepe
ele da hono hey ayo mo abrana na amepe dia na wate na dia na ekoso wa Ghana
yo fa ni chia intongone titini nti okomu check media no na maba Sante George na mama Jumaima owe soya na nama okomu chewu na na afi wo yere ana afi ne papa bisabinya akadeni ne papa ni kono okomu chewu na na fa once enwa speaker ekasai
mo
na kasa na okasa na ofani nyina fa emrasbe de fi eye ejiri wa share aba enam specific court edna no betum se majority minority sit back and someone else so ofani no address press no e ma Ghana obi ehun se de ekọ ofani pay last month you this month ofani last month you say minority majority na for the same place the same thing and ofani pay sanso cost oko na so de fiwa NDC caucus no akota majority side ana NDP caucus no so amakota majority side ebi over ebi so caucus no say be ya speaker beba na botimi address issue no say the enra osi asemtrefo the over say the enra motie ye na speaker address issue concerning vacancy and national supreme court that for address in Japan no oko na so de fiwa NDC amanu kuno na confere so bi mu odom no ba to de man padom ama but NDC amanu kuno dom na say omochita form ebi wo na studio ni mu a ofom so ekotai omo constituent na say omo na studio for FC the of the ekoso no pay no NDC MPP on the same side of the majority side one of them united mama no side there obi na dey so ko bia enter
na obi enter so say MPP for sila omo mai
ya ofa bi mu aba enyo mu ne bi mu aba bi mu wo wa so mu titi ofa
nti omo ba sa no omo te majority side ho
ofa mpacha imu ano pe ni MP won abo ni kula samanpa amefis ya won na so de ni ofa wa hade maye ofa ye bisa say si ade na ofa wasan so gina ho ene because we senior bi e won na so de fi no MPP ni a ofo ntimi ga so betena ho so na this seat near the man compare time speaker beba onu de defensive bia we mu na elisa na say ahade majority na minority e do offer o gina ho am pe ni bi nkomo around 9 o'clock kasi am tana boy kokobole bi no problem ti offer ya mu chance speaker beba na they also work what me the means na ba tuya
Ghana is it the Adom nkola o enti speaker ba na so say NDC foi montra majority MPP nko majority minority ade na besi
wa fa se wo hwe enwa enkomudi e course yi na na what say yes trefo hire mo of na ekoso of am pacho after say speaker any and trefo di chebuye and as on the floor of speaker no one and trefo di nkomo no of na NDC caucus no wo ba na MPP caucus no mo ne MPP for no ama but na NDC for after say speaker here no yewra after force any some people in Koma watching say speaker speech or the man and then say NDC for now the majority side in Jomo the man a majority side I want to say the beer coffee and a pampa and a so share videos near the two of us speaker Bambo so now I idea majority side or why minority side of the other side.
Mamintie era
election. Let's respect the sanctity of Parliament. The Supreme Court must respect Parliament. The executive must respect Parliament. The people of Ghana must respect Parliament. This is the chamber of the people. We were elected by the people, the sovereign will of the people, to come here to defend Ghana's democracy. And we will not fail the people. If we fail in this chamber to defend the majority that the NDC has attained, then we have failed to uphold the sanctity of our democracy. And that is what we will not allow.
Thank you very much, Judge. Honorable. So the concern is that we are a constitutional republic who are allegiance to the Constitution. The Supreme Court has that vested authority to ensure that some of the decisions that are in the interest of the country is affirmed. So, following the ruling which stated the execution of the Speaker's orders, as a caucus, are you not minded to obey the rulings of the Supreme Court?
In the first place, there was no ruling by the Speaker. So there is nothing to be stated. As far as this chamber is concerned, there's nothing to state. You know how this chamber works? The chamber works with the Constitution, the standing orders, and practices and conventions. When the Speaker makes an announcement, until the House reconstitutes and has the numbers to take a decision to adopt the vote and proceedings of the day on which Speaker made this announcement, then there's really nothing to be stated. The best. So now get it very clearly. In a constitutional democracy, the Supreme Court is subject to the Constitution. If the Supreme Court makes an order which is absurd, or an order which undermines the Constitution, or makes an order which undermines our democracy, which undermines the Parliament of Ghana, the Parliament of Ghana will have a duty not to obey that order. Because obeying that order will mean that we are destroying our democracy. Remember that if you don't have Parliament, you don't have democracy. Once you don't have Parliament, you don't have democracy. So let us not be taking this lightly. So Parliament must not allow itself to be interfered with by any institution, and not even the judiciary will interfere with the work of Parliament. And the judiciary is there. If Parliament does not approve budget for judicial service work for next year, they don't have a budget.
Wow. We know that it was.
They don't have a budget. If Parliament does not approve money for operations of the various organs of state, they don't have a budget. In fact, the whole nation can come to a court by 31st of this year. If Parliament does not convene, approve estimates, budgets, appropriations for the nation. We know that. So we will not allow this sovereign authority that has been vested by the Constitution to be taken away by a Supreme Court. We won't allow that.
We know the MPP side of the House recalled Parliament on your standing orders 53. But as of now, we've not cited any of them in Parliament yet. Should they not show up in Parliament, what will be the position of the NDC?
What will be the position? Already, we're all very busy doing our campaigns. People we're basically someone to come.
I saw you pushing the truck.
Yes, you should drag, you need to do more and all that. Yes,
you stop running that.
So when you talk about the law of Ghana, that practice and procedure, to the extent that it does not undermine the Constitution of the Republic, it's now part of the laws of the Republic of Ghana by reason of that convention.
Exactly.
So,
all right, for Abena. Honorable Sosu Xavi, and now what church and Semono. Na Obakubi Kasa, Bolibam boy, MP no Kasa, no, also Chese. As at now, dear, Omodomunim Somote majority seat, Nanso say Bagbin bar on any pronouncement, no Mdibejina so Ayejuma. In this Bagbin man also, my beloved NDC people kindly assume your seat at minority. Then they know what to do. But in the meantime, now some no can now. ontimi nka ho hwe enkyere won de omuntimi nsha omo se omo kwa akotena minority eba sakra na se agro bi na omudi wo parliament ho nti ede na ama MPP fo majority kura ya de mamu kura se monso enso na na hu ka jukai se yewra Osumano Bagbin me ya share se wenya aba nti yanhwe de ekọ yentie kakra
and got the administration to get the summons published to the notice of all of you. Unfortunately, the signatories who made the request have not shown up, and therefore matters that they wanted us to handle, which are admitted for the consideration of the business committee, are not on the order paper, and in fact there's no order paper for today because the business committee could not meet due to the absence of the people who requested for the recall. And as you can see, one side of the house is completely empty. In view of this, we have, as usual, got a quorum to sit, but we have no business before us to transact, because the business committee, as you know, they prepare a report, and this report is adopted by the House as business agreed by the House to transact during the course of the week. In the absence of that, there is no other authority that can put business before you which you have not adopted to transact. In view of the failure of the business committee to sit, as a result of the refusal of those who requested for the recall to show up, we are compelled to once again adjourn the sitting of the House. Knowing the challenges we are facing, it is not advisable to be adjourning from day to day. And so I'll proceed once more to adjourn the meeting indefinitely. And the meeting, this extraordinary meeting, is accordingly adjourned.
Ghana, 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 Ghana. Hey, in my Ghana. Nana Kwame Bediako ne Ghana. Yay! Chada ushebio. O papa nom na omo sabe omo ani egu omo ho poto sano wo mrese bebiam. Hey! Hey, honorable Ken, amanfo chesino. Honorable Ken wo. Honorable nie.
Honorable Jonobua is also the members of parliament are engaging themselves. So gradually we've seen they are engaging among themselves. So gradually we've seen that some members of parliament on the MPP side are trooping in. They are coming in as it goes, but they've not entered the chamber. They came, engaged among themselves briefly at the entrance, and they are headed back to their caucus meeting. Earlier, Honorable Andy Appiah could be member of parliament for Asante came not mentioned to me that he was unaware of any said caucus meeting that is apparently going on. You recall member of parliament for Buakwa South, Samuel Atacha mentioned to us earlier that there was a meeting, a caucus meeting going on. Honorable Jonoboa. Honorable Jonoboa, are you able to share a few words with us? It's a caucus meeting ongoing right now. So the leader sent you to come to conclave.
Yeah, when we came, speaker is already on the chamber, on the seat. So we don't know what is happening, and we are going to report to our leader.
We understand there's a caucus meeting going on. Can you confirm that for us?
Yes, yes. We did caucus meeting this morning, and we are supposed to have a conclave with the speaker. And this morning, and we came, and speaker is already seated, so we don't have any option than to.
So do you have a problem with speaker already starting proceedings in the house?
I don't know what is actually going on, so let us go and relay the information to our leader.
All right, thank you very much. So Honorable Alexander Jonoboa, who is also in MPP leadership, speaking to us, he said that he's been sent by the MPP leader Alexander Penyo Markin, majority leader. They still insist they are the majority side, to come and ascertain what's happening in the house. He makes the point that they are not too happy with some of the way the speaker has gone about conducting business. So Vivian, that is what is happening right now. The NDC side seems to have stormed out of the house.
The Supreme Court is asking that they should be allowed to come to Parliament. Did you see them here? Did you see the second deputy speaker here? Because you have occupied their seat. Did you see them here? Because you have occupied their Nobody. Did you see them here? No, that's not about chaos. I am telling you, they are only tricking us. They are in their constituencies campaigning. They never intended to do any business. They are only disturbing and wasting the people of this country's time. Look, so it's President Akufo-Addo and Dr. Bawumia who told their people not to come, because we are majority. Is it the case that a minority cannot come to Parliament? When we're minority, were you not coming to Parliament? Who says when you are in a minority you cannot come to Parliament? We are addressing, the leader is addressing us. So look, you go and listen to him.
On this particular issue.
Ghana, at the end of course you as a leader Afia address room in
minority caucus. For first, triggering a recall of Parliament under Article 1123 and Order 53 of our standing orders, and failed to show up. 2, we left our busy schedule, suspended our campaigns, and reported to duty this morning, only to see that the MPP members of Parliament who actually recalled Parliament, we noticed that they failed to show up. This morning at about 7 o'clock, we showed up at the business committee meeting on the 6th floor, only to notice that the MPP members of the committee once again failed to show up at the business committee. I personally called the committee clerk, and I was informed that she is out of the jurisdiction and no one has reached out to him to program the business of the day. I was worried and reached out also to the MPP side and to have an indication as to what their plan is. No one responded. I am deeply worried and deeply concerned that the very people that requested for Parliament to be recalled failed to show up. Clearly, what we are seeing here is an abuse of the Constitution and the standing orders of Ghana's Parliament. The NPP Minority Caucus have indeed caused financial loss to the state and to us, the NDC members of Parliament, and to the people of Ghana. We say this because these recalls cost Ghana money. This is not the first time that they have done this. They've done this a couple of times, but we see nothing than disrespect. We call on the people of Ghana to see the behavior of the MPP and punish them accordingly. They have certainly, everything shows that the MPP are tired, they are fed up, and they are not ready to work for the people. They are bereft of ideas and they are short of vision, they cannot solve the suffering of the people. All what they do out there during campaigns, in spite of the hardship, is to sing and dance Osisifia. That's all what they do. In times like this, when the ordinary Ghanaian is struggling to survive, they are dancing and singing Osisifia and sharing money. We want Ghanaians to see them as such and vote against them and sack them. Because clearly, you can see, we have over 100 NDC MPs here today out of the 137, and we are determined to do what is right. But colleagues, let me make this point to the people of Ghana. Let no one deceive you that the NDC is here to obstruct the people's business. We are rather here to work for the people of Ghana. We see this as a call to duty. We turn up in our numbers to do what we have to do, only to find out that the very group of people that called us to consider government business, they have no business. So the truth out there is that there is no urgent government business. There is no urgent government business, and the government has no business. They have given up, they've checked out, and they want the election to be done as soon as possible so that they can leave office. Fellow Ghanaians, let's vote against this incompetent government and have our country back. Thank you.
Hello, can you hear me?
Hear you.
Can you hear me?
Jude, I can hear you.
Yes. So Vivian, wow, an interesting scene. The fire service truck just bumped into the barricade, the guardrails set here, and that's a little issue here. But Vivian, so early on we saw members of parliament on the NPP side join us. They came, they didn't enter the chamber, and they left. Now we've been addressed by the minority leader, Keselato Forsin, who makes the point that the NPP side of the house have wasted time and have caused financial loss to the state. That's exactly the phrase he used. They are clearly dissatisfied, the NDC side. But Vivian, I've been joined by Member of Parliament for South Dai, Roxanne Afia Schwarzenegger. Honorable, just brief words. Your caucus is not happy. They've made the case that the NDC or the NPP have caused financial loss to the state. What's the thinking of the NDC side right now?
You heard leader say that we are not happy, and I think that the entire nation shouldn't be happy, because these are the group of people that have been entrusted with the power to exercise executive power of states, and in doing so, your party has formed government and they are in parliament. They are supposed to bring government business for us to transact. Now, I reference this matter that Speaker, this group of MPs, they dilly-dallied from between June and early July. Businesses that were to have been considered, they dilly-dallied, they toyed with it until Speaker adjourned the House CNDA on 30th of July. On 31st of July, they filed for another recall, if you remember. When we came, they listed a lot. In fact, in that letter to Speaker, they practically embarrassed Speaker by using unprintable words. Speaker didn't budge. Speaker recalled the House. When we came here, the number of items that they listed as being of national interest, as being urgent, blah, blah, they came to have us approve a loan. And then that was the end. After 2 days, Speaker had to adjourn the House CNDA. Because they walked out on the second day, and so we couldn't attain quorum, a decisional quorum. We had a commencement quorum, so we adjourned CNDA. The next day, then they filed for this recall and listed a whole list of businesses as being of national interest, as being urgent, and therefore ought to be considered before today. Speaker again complied. How do you abuse exercise of executive power of state this way? Abuse of resources and abuse of opportunity. Because the people of this country, majority gave them the opportunity to be in government and to exercise executive power of state. This is how they abuse it.
Are you of the view that this is deliberate by the NPP side not to show up?
This is not deliberate, you heard Speaker say they wrote they wrote a major memo for a recall, and 2 days later they added an addendum to the recall, indicating a certain tall list of businesses to be considered, including the establishment of 8 universities in a day. So if you recall the house, and we are here, I had to leave Southern yesterday at night just to be able to attend to the business today.
What's the next line?
And then we come, and you don't even show respect to matters of state. These are matters of state protocol. These are affairs of state. You don't even show up to whatever excuse there are. Come and tell the nation why you think that we shouldn't do business today and that we should do it tomorrow. Come and tell the country.
What's the next line of action for the NDC caucus?
The tragedy, you see, what I want to add is that the tragedy of the situation is that because it's a constitutional provision, they can even trigger it again this evening. And Speaker is compelled under the constitutional stipulations to abide. That is the tragedy of the situation that we have.
So what happened to your suit? What happened to your suit on the vacant seat ruling?
Yes, that's a fresh matter. It's in the court. I believe that Speaker should be served today or tomorrow, and so that we'll take it up from there.
Finally, what's the next line of action for the NDC caucus?
There's no next line of action for us. We are public servants, dutifully voted for by our constituents to attend to Parliament and conduct business, so that anytime we are called upon by Parliament to conduct parliamentary business, we do. So NDC, we can only point out the flaws, the problems that the NPP is creating for this country. There's no constitutional crisis. They have created their own crisis, and let me tell you why. You have an indisciplined army. That is why 2 of your members decided to go independent. The origin of all this issue is because 2 sitting members of Parliament on the ticket of the NPP have gone AWOL. They've gone to run independent, and there's a notice of poll from the Electoral Commission to that effect. They've been assigned their independent symbols, and they've been assigned their independent colors. They no longer bear the color of the NPP. And to confirm this, the NPP has also gone ahead to sponsor candidates, their own chosen candidates for the same constituency in the same contest. So the Constitution says when that happens, these people must leave Parliament. And again, we are also saying that a sitting member of Parliament has also decided to now join the NPP formally, and now is contesting on the ticket of the NPP. He's been assigned the NPP logo, he's been assigned the NPP color in consonance with Regulation 14 and 15 of CI 127 by the Electoral Commission. So when these things happen, all right, the Constitution is very clear as to what should happen. When Speaker makes pronouncement on that, then you say no. The people, even though they are no longer with us, they must not leave Parliament. So it is not a crisis created by anybody. It is a crisis that originates from themselves. All right. So we are saying that if there is any blame to be assigned in this matter, the blame falls squarely on the NPP. They cannot keep an indisciplined army.
Honorable, finally, will the NDC make a move to guard against what the Speaker also describes as the abuse of Order 53, where for any reason at all, anyone can just evoke to recall Parliament? Are you minded to just raise an issue?
No, the abuse of it. The standing orders, invocation of the standing orders is secondary, because it is the constitutional provision of 112 that.
Comedy of errors, asefim bebre na Frank Mabaso mame mohin sese yensabeka honorable Nicholas Amankwa wano oye NDC parliamentarian ewo Amenfi East ono ewo Enkran Parliament House was a seer, Yanjasi and Sabakana. Honorable Matthew. Na umpomuya de.
Oh, Namia Dome,
yo, Parliament Mukusu and Asa Mapo.
Like, Kisiana, Sika, Journey House, you know. He said, the minority side, you know, they should to attend to the house today.
Ebio. Honorable Diana Ekoso, the Ekwe, and yet Ghana for Abujo.
The Minister of Parliament here in Ghana age more. And Parliament is a house of record. It's share a government of the day. And the minority caucus, NPP 40 Aba Anamoah also, Menard Danko Akufo. So they lead a business of the house. And to open a memoir, the 1992 Constitution, Article 1123. And my speaker said, "We are not going to here. Not almost someone say a buying business. Yambra and Ayamaya, Ayadia, we have back. When you see our campaign season, now so Onua na the cat Akrobeto speaker say a buying business. If invite my Yambra, almost second deputy chief whip in an official letter, nothing. When I speak up here and start saying, you know, because I'm saying, there is a constituency, I make each constituency. If I do, I can. The business is the campaign cost.
Hello. Network no. Hello, Honorable. Yanja say yansa besa aka Honorable ewa homane so na aya mana wie ne nkomodi ne se na emuyede Frank
Kenjezi
ase Nanado was set a very bad precedent.
Oh yes.
Atro man
yes.
Na ebetimi edu ye na bagana.
MPP for mu Ghana for. Se adwemmone aba mu trim. Adwemmone aba NPP for trim. I can boldly tell you.
Hey.
Yes. Where abe in the constitution no. We say make us say the executive powers no. The legislature has the 2/3 majority to overturn the executive powers. And now the same law no is also emma the executive, that is the president. Eye bibia opese oyen wo manum. We have what we call contingency or emergency. Enti se biti se the AC wo parliament a ontumi enya kwan emfa ne government business enko parliament na yenye hu adwuma mano no na oman no nso so esese mpuntuo koso no ono ankasa betimi ayusu ne pe without parliamentary approval ayede obeye bia enti sika bi o mo pese o mo ria bia no now is the best way o betimi di area eno mpodi aye fofofo amomo. This is true. It is obi tibabi na obi kasa na Kwame Bediako be ye president na one MP nti ontumi nruli a enye nokore da biara da do obek any lawyer any hwan obeka bia ka kire say oboa eye tro say for instance na Kwame Bediako ne parliamentarians na ode government business kura ko parliament na omoyo omo adwen say Ombe Mafia na Kwame Bediako. Na Kwame Bediako cannot sit there. He can just pass it without them. That one, the veto power with the executive government. And until brebia so most of the politicians no man no. Almost say the executive powers no too much. yen so nye constitution no foforo na yente so enti ama aban no odi wro for say oman no a o say no obia ne ho tumi so obeka agese bia ne time na so na yakwa akoto aba asesa no
Shade uko Uganda wase omonso ye a constitution on national national coffee amendment bill our parliament shade esi ho and they are
Can you sit, honorable members?
Uganda shade yako look at this. Our people that they are the lawmakers. They make law. Uganda, Africa. Yena. Kwato wanu mampa. If you be Yes, Naji baby. Enti said the MPP, NDCA, and Yawa na Ghana mbebu na meblemu. The youth of this country, mubibi ndabone. I think say did you cry say you forget near kotra baby. Say yana na Kwame Bediako nkabade samemba ha. Kameba kura nso a ebi a football ho asam na makofa foreign football na meka Ghana de nkebeto yadwim. They are not serious. They are not serious.
Yeah, be.
Ankadia ye Ghana mbebunu kasa mpampa. Ama wonu me sorry a nka wodi mirika be ko parliament ko peje omu ina fidem ho atoto mpuma no mu. We don't have parliament. Young crossing it down.
Yeah, Messi Abe, we should speak the truth. The parliament, the judiciary, they are all toothless. Though the parliament has power to grill the executive, but in aspect of constitution, no, ama the executive government no to me bia say eduba bi senka parliament no be use the to me no put to the executive government on a tosua. There is another way dodge. Yes, bisa ya ho say adenti na e-levy the same parliament they call court now so still the executive government ebu ho animtia a pass e-levy bill no ya bisa ya ho ya the call supreme court but yanka ho hwe eye adwuma ya bisa ya ho say adenti na sa ayi kwadwo besi ya mrai ya de ba ya akufa de sami nso ampaso wanso ya bisa ya ho sa enti akoya se executive no the parliament no betimi ayusu emra no aputuru on it tosua na executive no use the veto power kenoforiata unim sika na ote so omu use. That's why anana na Adom pese obesesa kenoforiata da no omu use omu diga na sika without passing through parliament and pass parliament. Even it is in the law say as executive government say if by emergency or contingency na say we use o manu sika so the okobo parliament amane ya say oh ebia ahokyere abc di say bae enti no me use o manu sika na me use o manu japade we e de ye we just go report, that is all. So mo anye eti se say ya wo mu no NPP for no masa omo afọ mo ho adwen na fe no mo ba be lutu Ghana kese say de ombe lutu bia no se parliament wo nya we yemfa meto parliament no waka say okay ya hwem say ni na mo kwa akoye say yes president no betimi aka say because of the crisis na misunderstanding between the parliament that is the leaders in the parliament, no government business can go on. And if that is the case here, the government business so doesn't mean say as the government or minor and on the home pine into a no ankasa were using the executive powers at the ABCD a fair point a west me say MPP for agreement abo mutrim e ka bi so ho say adan na mo call for parliament na parliament ya bie na mo ankasa ama. They know the time as I say omo de call parliament. They know the time I say almost started parliamentary business. but na omo hwehwe. But the moment you omo te say a speaker ajane parliament,
then they came out.
Then they came out. Me say omo plan wo dem wa wie. Wo da asem we abe en dem kan. Wo de ho asem beba. Wo baka se Franke, wo kan ye. Me say ho asem ebeba.
Na say Abrante no ura na okasa no na excuse ni say omo de omo ni omo ba na parliament start speaker omo asete e ma omo ye ntino. They can't join.
Me say omo boa de tie ne say they have find a way out wa. Sika na omo pese omo wia no, omo betimi awia. The constitution gives them that. Emrano, ema kwan executive powers. And make us executive powers no so yeah idea be without parliamentary approval. The only thing I say abano ya and say or sanso or kwato parliamentarians and say or co speaker oh my idea ABCD. But me on emergency situations untimi nyane hwe. Untimi nyane hwe no. Eti ma yasoso ye ne nyi bebre se Babina close parliament intino government business enkoso afi po na mo ba be wia Ghana kese sa afi mpo de ya mebo wa amane won kwatena se ne ya ye empreso no mo atwe afi de omo de omo se bom de omo de aba no peso ye bia obeye yes de aba no peso ye bia obeye aluti nyane he. That is Emra ewo Ghana. The veto power no. You too bad. Eti we na ya na abana ya ne ho say o temra democracy no. Ah de ko parliament na on fanfa ha no. That means anema no enha ono no ne personal interest. But the ya ne personal interest no o pa ye den. Supreme Court no. Parliament no. Oda Ghana for do pa yemfa ya so ye ni ento form na yen kakai eniema akwaso ade bia mfa se eye Abena kasa ne personal interest no obosa institutions we nyina tugu but there say enshada ehia bi na ye say omo ye de apenipa ni menyam ama omo hu se omo do Ghana for no na omo ahyeda oh yemfa parliament yemfa Supreme Court ye democratic state ye jimredi ye pemasem ye de say omboa
adanko dada
dre what do you ever say within this period from now till December 7th say ye forensic auditor ubehunu sika na narudan kwakufa na MPP for Ayusu from the state whatever kaze na ya to fa na wetie ba de say me say ebesele the 8 years ni nyina sika omo Ayusu Ave, MPP for they are very wicked. They are very, very wicked. They have found their way out. Or more finding their way out. So why are they harassing themselves? I can tell you without parliament, with Ghana constitution, say yes, Samrano, a president without parliament can work even any year that he want. I can tell you that.
This is Uganda parliament. This is Ghana parliament. Uganda for no there no blues and Ghana there adjournment upon adjournment and on air course say na Speaker of Parliament Ghana okay
prayers. Almighty God, we humbly beseech thee to look with favor upon this Parliament of the Republic of Ghana.
Hey, blues.
Grant that it may perform its high duty as in thy sight. Give divine guidance to the President of the Republic.
Look at that.
Parliament and ministers of state who deserve
our lawmakers.
Integrity and courage.
I say to Abeiku Santana.
Evil and poverty shall be done away with. To struggle to make this vision a living reality. Inspire and strengthen our people that they may give time, thought, and sacrifice to speed the day of the coming beauty of Ghana and Africa. Amen.
Africa, until Uganda for Ababa Tahono. Almost the Ekoso Hono.
Na obompaye ma na na do so obesesa na agwere.
Obompaye. Oh.
Obompaye ma na na do so obesesa na agwere.
Anandra o make remarks bi say eye bone kese na wono ma ye tia Ghana.
Oh yes.
Na say ye confess.
Yes. I extend a warm and hearty welcome to each and every one of you as we commence this extraordinary meeting of the 4th session of the 8th Parliament of the 4th Republic. This meeting is a response to a request for a recall first dated 22nd of October 2024 and the subsequent one dated 24th of October 2024, both pursuant to Article 1123 of the Constitution and Order 53 of the Standing Orders of Parliament. Both requests were signed by more than the constitutionally required signatories of 15% of all members of Parliament. The first request entreats the House to deliberate upon and transact urgent government business. And the businesses were tabulated, and from what we had, they were not many, just a few. The second request, dated 24th, simply added many more items for the consideration of the House. So from the initial request for us to consider 5 items, this second request added 17 more items. And this request came from the MPP members of Parliament, and it was signed on their behalf by the second Deputy Majority Whip, Honorable Alex Tete Jodubois. In fact, both requests were signed by him. Honorable members, I had, under the dictates of the provisions of the Constitution, to issue the summons for you to be here today. And I duly complied with the constitutional provision and got the administration to get the summons published to the notice of all of you. Unfortunately, the signatories who made the request have not shown up, and therefore matters that they wanted us to handle, which are admitted for the consideration of the business committee, are not on the order paper, and in fact there's no order paper for today because the business committee could not meet due to the absence of the people who requested for the recall. And as you can see, one side of the House is completely empty. In view of this, we have, as usual, got a quorum to sit, but we have no business before us to transact, because the business committee, as you know, they prepare a report, and this report is adopted by the House as business agreed by the House to transact during the course of the week. In the absence of that, there is no other authority that can put business before you which you have not adopted to transact. In view of the failure of the business committee to sit, as a result of the refusal of those who requested for the recall to show up, we are compelled to once again adjourn the sitting of the House. Knowing the challenges we are facing, it is not advisable to be adjourning from day to day. And so I'll proceed once more to adjourn the meeting
indefinitely.
And the meeting, this extraordinary meeting, is accordingly adjourned.
Hey! Nana Kwame Bediako mani o papa nom na wona namo This is so bad. Very, very bad. This is very, very, very bad. Baby, yedru as Ghana mbebunu afina mehu say ye weak. Nompeni yemu. We are weak in this country. Me see way. Nka bakona mbebunu oba akokora akoye speaker na fi omo ache mo de mo matras na yandwene yaman ho.
Abi, one thing is Dr. Kwame Nkrumah make key statement to be also whenever the will of the people is delayed or denied, there will be violence here and there. Not that the people will it, but the accumulated grievances erupt like a volcanic fury. Now, the grievances of the youths are now accumulating. So you can see, say, first, said the Nanka youth, now there are few people or more are started air rising. So when these grievances are being delayed or denied and being accumulated, it will shock them. A bit far more to say rapture. So man, you're that worried because what is going on now? And yet and you can see people are suffering, people are telling the leaders their minds, but it's a bit matter of time. But there is going to be a time the youth is going to rise up. So share the political history of even the advanced countries, especially the UK. I think there is a King Charles the First. Yeah, the people slaughtered him. So what I say? So looking at the political history of these advanced countries, some of them they started like this. These leaders now, I don't know whether say they know the political history of these advanced countries. Said the Niema na estate kwa na people no bonyuswa or more air rising na say yeah a kudru babia. Because the power belongs to the people, erupted like a volcanic fury. the people took the power into their own hands, and later no almost selected good leaders here. Those good leaders no put to the country on their toes wa ene ayekra behra omutumi ko hokọ sere besia no osmutumi ko hokọ je besia no. So Abe, all these things are just a manifestation to we the youth to say we should rise up, sack all these leaders and rebuild new leaders. Omobetimi take the Ghana at heart. Now yebe build the Ghana in a different context. That's what we want. So oh, we the youth, we Ghanaians, because the meno and ye is part of it, and at least Tobiasum encourage you be a biagimu a should be crying and will be a kukudru or also ye different thing else. So when all these grievances accumulated, a bit erupted like a volcanic fury. So when it erupts like a volcanic fury, then we take this country into our own hands and put it on the right toes. Intime, I still have a belief, say even if say yentumi krano magana nyesede yepa, we are creating the path. The new generation now mudi echi aebano. They will not repeat the mistake again. Omumpo Omobeye very active, very stronger, and very influential than us. Who says see I may not best start a year. Me friend me ban na me name me koye ko. Me barake twaro kofi. Yes oko school ma so kase we no pe. O pa me mfa ma no. Ntokwa nko na oko no school mu ho. So I have to call the madam and find out. And also so there. Obono a enka ne so. Say oh yeah ne bibia for ho adida bi. Ono so di ochiri de say obeba be ya ade a ensem fata wananim. Ena mene madam no akasa da me sre de so de o manage ni kakra mame. Na wa fo dia wa fo se obi amedre to kere jafo. Edre to kere jafo. Ode me fa kere japo di ni nyina. Eti ono so ochiri nsemfo. Ba mu asa ona bo kandi wo. Da me asa de. Adane ye we kura na ne bu ofunu okokon the problem bebo. Bibisa abadan na abadan na hire se. Ono de ochiri ne se otiri ba bi no wa ba bebo no. No wa ba be ka no. Alaze akonya no so no. Ono no so kwa akonya no gu ho. Because we tuaka. So okasa opa akonya wi na so mfa mano a. Ene no so no de. Aha nti akwese se madan no kire se. Ono no akwese onso sonsem fonso. Aha unse nkura so de ya na omo di agro ne ade nti ono no ba oto quite. Eda masre madam no so de mesre no on control no. So with a new breeze of case now omo ba no, with the knowledge and powers now they are now building it up no. What they say na yentimi ni omo nko. They are rising up. No mo no. Omo nsuru tu omo nsuru ajan. Nkura na omo ba ni no. Oboni omo die besie ni ama bibi. Dia be my ain't too worried. But let's create the foundation. So what you say? We say nyama Dr. Kwame Nkrumah here ache but ene e motivate nya Dr. Kwame Nkrumah na motivate na Kwame Bediako. Abe meboa. The spirit of Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. But say Dr. Kwame Nkrumah nya bibia nke betimi motivate na Kwame Bediako ene.
Yes, ya ton Ghana. Me de mfoni bi atoso.
Oh yeah.
Ya ton Ghana.
Yes, this information is true.
Why na si hwe?
Ayana na do na se wa broni.
Se wa ni?
Yes, se wa broni. Yes.
Na so nya oba kokko.
Oh, but say camera no na an capture ne ye. But oye fair. Onye kokko bebre, but oye fair. Se wa broni. This story is true.
Empa no teso no.
Yes, empa ode na nado. We am say no san check. San ba ho.
Kada check.
Na dey. Ana endorse.
Paper no sondodo.
Okay. But I'm saying another then they editing and no more than a picture no. As you way plain muna we say wabroni wono.
Yeah.
But nanado they are not on there. I think say it may be edited way picture na there so. But the story was true. Because during this story, na me hear that story no. And say wabroni ne partner na on no work Canada na she called me. Of frame, yes. I am na me say na ono so antikwi brofo kra ron hye dante papa. Na me say na nti omo aye video bebre ba fa se wa broni hu yi. Nti wa hu obi ase me na wo frame o se me gu ne partner ni ase.
Oh really?
Oh yes. Na me say na wo ntikwi ase me kan kwi mu e ba ne say na wo teye. Na o se wa broni na kire mu kire no. Eti ehoro na make us okay, how is the story about? And on no one kasa kire me how the story was. Since then, man ka story no ho asem bio. Not knowing Hopes Nadoye was doing damage control. Me that is how I am. Me no matter what. Say asem si na me nya hunu no kore no. Emfa ho se me tan wo. Me nya ngu wani ma ase. I will never. Yes, our brother in the partner, she was in Canada. Or frame. Enemy didn't come up. Or say, Yana Yase Migu, the partner and any masse. And I watch and frankly speaking, based on this, pictures on another, Nina, everything clearly shows there is something going on. And per the information, so Mianka Minya from inside, you know. Yes, I'm say campaign because it can be quite out who tebi. And I mentioned that concrete evidence to me deep. But is it 2016 or 2012? Yes, MPP Sika. And they call campaign who tebi or Bagbin a fire. And then inside MPP for now no more that job no. And almost open napa Ubiarako or Kwaku na wada. Inti no more and sent to Kwaku Biarana and your time in a home. No, the coy. Sound to you now wada. So bodyguard ne bura ho I say o mother o bura ho mko na ote adwale wada.
What is happening?
Na me say Ghana for the ya dance na gu abonten. Ensama abe e wo ho no enye ni nyina na obetimi dia ba betudwa. Eti say aya na say ye ka asem na obi tinchen na odidi atem na so ya na ne ho ye mesere. Me even the expose here me de ba abonten abe ensanu bebre kura ho ame na me fra ne ntoma. Me ntimi mfa ma abonten se de ete ro no. Bi kura mpo de amenka kura. Menka ba ko pempo. Se ne se me ka ni nyina ro nanka me se me mfra ne ntoma se de ete ne sa na me de ba de a ene nka eja betom. We po na me fra ne ntoma po na mo sesei. Mpanimfo no modi ewu abe.
We fra ne ntoma.
Me fra ne ntoma.
Ontuma no mponi.
Mentoma no nie. Mpanimfo na di ewu. Omo di ewu abe. Na se wunya omo ankasa na abe, omo ankasa ka no kure kire wa hunu. Omo fra one me very likely for me no. Ya na omo ankasa nkrofo na efre me one on one. Anything ya na me kasema me go straight to the issue no. Se asem sia na se me ka nipa na asem no fa no ho na nipa na waye sa ade no ida se Onua nkasa ni busuani anase nipa one ne yeye ene freme na wanareti asem ni nyina with evidence eti se me ka minsuro bia. But I can tell you the minds of Ghanaians are gradually changing na nkakra
echedodo
oyi ebesesa
eche
oda mempepre ho ye nyabre we say yes say obi a opese no fudua no mane ni kanfo mayama no woda mayama omo ahoma na it is going to be erupted like a volcanic fury just one day. Boom, that is all.
Ni omo ahoma ya ye yensa ma omo ahoma
woda mese yenkoso ana ya educate yenkoso ana ya educate this is Asante Bediako to wadi mfiasa so ni 60 years.
Oh David
yes so that life support so that is it. Would a man mo bian rashi can oforiata wadi mfiasa opa onko di bode joma yenhwe eti abe mama Ghana ni bi anya worried. Would a young kwaso na yemmo yempaye na yenka no kure no yasum nyame a ote ase ye nyankopon no bekasa yeso ofa no boa onto ne ntem but onim de oye said ye be nyankopon sankyere ne beda dinti ena ama we nyina eba. There must be a history and that history is what we are experiencing. So sa problems we nyina ma enka ye kura ye ntimi nya kwanya say ye kire nimdi aye wo. So every problem doesn't come by surprise. It's a matter of say it's a say eba na wo abe nimdi na ewo mu a wo de beboa oman na bibinti aka hye no epie. Enti niama fo ampanimfo na ye no unse aboa ama ye ehunu ni papa wo oman Ghana mu. Sanya niama fo amo yankana na Kwame Bediako hwan kura na nim se na Kwame Bediako nka owo pepa owo nimde a wabo brase oba bedi Ghana mampani. Enti niama na amo ye no it is now emerging the good people of Ghana, and we are going to take Ghana to the next level of mano ya hombetoye.
Mame mwoshi na menko Ghana na mene Honorable Kofi Adams ending komo if you say now our parliament want to pay majority nanso NPP for chese obua enya de beba so Honorable Machio.
Yeah, I mean ya bejodo.
Na mo hote say
well nyame de odene acheye but or se nyame dan chewa e woni a wo beye e wo edan na ye mpenifo a ye de o man na ahye o munsa o se o mohwe so na ye nya edan so mfaso no omo na omu hu nya o mbeye
Honorable Massa Gano ana woni muina Massa no ana mo nka ho
oh mayenka no krenu street say akufo ado ne baomia Asei Ghana na nyamia ye Adom enche bia just about 30 days from ene to say the way America baby amuwo omuto aba esesa aban no Ghana yeso yebeye bi na ahade no kra no yes inside the akọ papemum pa ede yebekọ enimpa
Honorable Diasinde, is it because of the majority issue? Say one more kunjana, Yera Bagbin, I declare, say, Mona Moya majority in Tina Alban say an answer.
Well, Speaker Bagbin and declare say a majority and a minority. Because Asem no embedan in him say Obeka Huasem.
Okay.
Nia Eba Speaker in him say Ofia Constitution Imra Yedibu or Minor Article 97 1G and H Kabibi H in my uncle H first H Nika say yetu Abama say Brambra Sebijim as independent Ukodom party or say Free Parliament G Nuso Kase yetu Abama ewo amanyo kubidim na uba Parliament na uye waje say who call another Amanyokum and now who call independent or say Free Parliament. Na Sanchieno Yediaye Juma Ewo Ghana happened. In November 2020, Speaker Michael Kwe Eddie
Ghana Network.
Now oye na been say okwa kujina independent until the seat was declared as vacant. Emma Free Parliament and sana ye kwa kotoaba. Issue speaker no declaration na oye ye no. We ye no mathematics and no chere say NDC beba be majority. Na MPP be minority. And I yes we were convention e parliament was say Moa moye majority no mutina speaker ne nifa and now moye minority no mutina benkum. So that is all that we as members of parliament no ye di juma and yes speaker and waka but yen as members of parliament na ye di juma.
Na say no mo be chairman speaker na declare answer ana
there be speaker and declare say wo be kaya ye to aba 2020 ayeba parliament no na NDC side no ye kwotena speaker ne right sa na ekoswa until say asem no ebeda speaker enim and a speaker eka say or train the independent member no beka say independent member no eka say only MPP group beye juma dia and the omo beba beye the majority side and omo betena the nifa enti eno na ekoba no say independent no chiro krata say mini group yi na ye be ye adwuma na speaker no ema ruling say the MPP group aba be majority na NDC e be minority so enya speaker na determine maybe aye betina earlier yan kasa da ye mathematics e kotena bibia o say yetina.
Honorable Diakwe, don't you think, sir, you are now giving MPP more room to operate on our finances? You say no, omodo omsabo bosikem anytime. Ada ya de omope.
Well, sikano omode omonsa ekoka sikano abra parliament emma won to me say omonye bibi sa is going to go against them. Say emrane de e bedru time a ubeba be yi ano. Enti se omu nim na so omu koye bibi a mrano makwan a omu be yi ano at the right time. Because sa bosie ya omu se omu kwa akobo no parliament emma won to me bia sa tax exemption ya omu pese omu gi a ebi be fasika ni bia di ahye omu botom ebi ni mu di be kwa akoshe mpaase ye omu se me ba New Jersey kura me beti se minister bi ekuku sika be $3 million de ba America ho a ewa network airport kura omu ye de omu sizi sa sika no ubisa won se sa nipa no onya sika no ewo hin sa nia maboni ya omu ye ni bi no e na omu de sisa o minus sika e de ye sa de na o se ye stop it sa mining and we're going to stop it and untina mampeni mahama e kan say obedia dia operation retrieve all loot obehwehwe mo at say mo America mo ye Ghana for mo abi munim bebi ankrofo de omunyama e hihye eni omo so omo wo hu nimdie kura se omo nye Ghana for obeka omo nyina bom plus yeso a ye wo Ghana ha na oman ni sika bebi akodi bia no ye beji sika no e de aba be yam e de abo oman.
Honorable, said there are emergency situations basampo a abano ewo tumi odin sababoskem na owia na wababo amane. Don't you think we have gotten to that point?
Emergency bia so mbaye.
Tax waiver ya ye emergency.
Well, waiver any emergency. Waiver no the constitution dey very clear say parliament nkwa na obetumi amawo sa atumi no. Senke ya dia omo ankasa betumi asori akoya nko mo aye dadadada. Nka enya dia omo betwe parliament. Eno nya emergency.
But honorable say emergency be say parliament is not working and we need it.
Parliament is not working is not emergency.
Oh. Because parliament na mbakwa akotena e decide say ye hia bibi because your man no and ye de bua nti say parliament ntena ase a na say bre ko na ade no so e bre da ho time da ho ase ya and yes parliament
and make say bia emergency bia nsi e bi omoso aban side of parliament no and omumba parliament enye rather no enye say NDC side no omumba o Uba parliament a NDC side ye ti ho a party a omo wa bemu a omo e na omo hia se omo di bibi beba ama parliament agi atomu no omo na omo mba parliament na wo be de na wo wa free match na wo ankasa wa mba party a wo blame wo opponent na wo free no match say brana ye mbo match no ono wo ho wo se onu di kan be wura park ni nti wo wa free match no wo mbebo match no wo mba park ho kura mi wa wo na wa free match.
And the other Nankayera Bagbin onion say, even though Muamuban no form quorum business being once a period for parliamentary sitting there, they be a mubako Omuamba Muka no akase and there's no business until you have to adjourn to the next day until see who say deliberately and people from Pasa responded because I say we say court.
Obia nim say ye wo ebre bia ye hia say ye niama bi so a ye ntumi nkoso emma de bia sa abra omunye ready e ba ye omu na omu fa constitutional provision na e wo ho say speaker emfreye na say wo de won sa share krata as say speaker emfreye na speaker freye na wo ankasa wo de won sa share krata na say no wa ma ye be de ye ntumi nkoso ntena sa forever. because a better waste of or minus say you be ho abra business statement no so e bibia ni ho business committee na nhia omo say agent business bi wo ho a wo say ye no mo anko hwe say mo be ma business committee atena na omo di business abreye for us to decide on and na bibia enda ye nim say ye de be ejuma. There was no business.
Enti sise no wasa agye no indefinitely yenim da mo sa be hia bi o
yenim da ye be sa afre o sa afre
na me yi Uganda omo so tenase entokwa na ejire mo parliament ho no enya asam keto ene ya
say ye de agye ntokwa MPP for na omo di ye boni nti na omo ye ni omo ye na ade a omo suro eni say omo edi boni a omu lose elections we are ni nyina be pie omu suro say e be chance say kra APSC because NDC aba be majority enunti na omu frustrate bi ade bia parliament be
yo
because omu so make ho a yentumi nya numbers a ebe ma ye edodo a ye de be decide or say ye nya MPP ni ba ko ana mienu bi a omu be ka ye ho ansa na ye nya sa numbers no.
Yo, enti abe no monso mo kwadwene mo ho ahu.
Of course, yentumi ntina abra ye nya bibia na omutu aye ka abra ye nya bibia.
As I say bribi beba enche parliament wo ye parliamentarian na sitting dino amba bosomi ye ntua woka waketua sie
Our constitution will say one bus sitting continuously for 15 days without the permission of Mr. Speaker. And yes, I can tell you, you can say you free parliament. So when to me, I'm Manchester, Papa Bia.
Honorable Kofi Adams, Anape, King's Jersey Radio, Fadda Wase, Ayano. Yato ne and say now you were part of this incident. Wama yamania course unti yamishirao na yabashe way forward. Why? That's a pa. Frank, we don't have tomorrow.
Are they?
Oh, in the future.
Who say Abe Adia Bakone say
in the future?
Yen leaders in the Wahunu. Omo ayene say Omo hold the leadership position no a opportunity say omo de enya omo ho so what you say but enye say ye hold the position to help the country say okoye member of parliament ne botaye nyina na say okwa akoye say de beya obenya opportunity na watu kwan akọ amanone watimi atofie wo amanone watimi de ne yire ne ma akogu amanone na obetumi aye contract enye sika na wasisi fie ahodo watoto cars ahodo that is the botaya omode ko parliament ho no inti wo hiani ba na wo to aba ama no wo de no de eba into contest in the period abatuo adua oba besere wo ho se to abama no inti eho no na sika na wawia no obepone ho kakra bi na ode mawo na okrokro na ono nete ene mahu se bebre na akototo machines a yede pamade yede yetire ene ade emma won constituents inti metona me bisa me ho se nanti adenti na abatuo berenko na moyesa ade we etinka yato abama mo no ahokeka sa abre mo de wo mo constituency na mo sere Ghana for se yento abama mo no ada na mo masa ahokeka no enkosoa from the first year to the 4 years na je se abatuo berenko na moyesa ade no that is to tell you say abe omonwe wo ho yene onabo ken echo one of the areas in his constituency yekotu nsuo ma omo na yekoye no no mo kura mo ase mo buofu na boko no mo so na boken ko ho onko sram no se na mo me a memma mesra mo na niema mu hia mo hawo ne mama ne nyina ma ya ma mo de wo he na mo pe eti memra mesra mo keke mintuka me ba mo ho te se onabo ma bo eno na mo pe Emma honorable kurabufu ye didi omo atem even protocols no opportunities bebre wo ha ode ama omo abe omo kurampo is like say omo mpe eno honorable se mi nimu atem na menye modan momo na momo bre na me mahu se MP masade ne se memeboa mo no emwa na me de ato ho se mo nye no kura no mo yimani kura o se dental the police protocols be mi ensa ne koma omo abe ba ko pe ba ko nso so oba ye no medical security ko medical oni bi wanka o hote ho sa na waste protocols protocol no. And there are many opportunities. I say na mo parent, what is wrong with you? Eti me opportunities ya me de bremo no mo mpe me mra na me machia mo onabu abo omo hospital clinic na ewo ho omo say complete ye onabu ye ni nyina make sure say nurses are there to help them insu ana omo ni bi na we are for can worldwide for ya dawroma ye ko tu insu ni bi ma omo ena ema omo ba ye nyina mo firi kuro mu ho nyina omo obi aso 200 dental na 200 cedis yeska enye ne ya ba mi ba say economy so obi amfa nidwa na ade kakra bia enuadoa na ode beton a mako na ode beton a intus anasa nchina na ode aye ena boys no omo ne school dan boys no so ho ma boys ni nyina de won how beto nanim wa wo hia we adwuma we na opese usua si na opese onabo ye ni nyina pepe. This is what we call leadership. Then tananya abatu abreu na ye nkonkoto abawo but okohoko ye ni nyina ena onabo nso so no wasanso ama say bia wo na oye assemblyman na waka kiro say ono no onya kwan ema ho nti no say omo wo problem ament na so wan kasa fa phone fa frɛ no so wantimi amfa phone kra mfrɛ na wo de fa ka say fosu no wo ana say Accra na wa bra na fa beto nanim na onye ne ntem say de be ya omo nso so ho beto omo but yen hwa gi ma wu ofu yi enei aka just 30 days aye be koto abai hwe ne ma omo de omo ye no ye constituency na adenti na saa de omo ye no constituency omo nkoso anye after elections so that means omo nim papa nso so no omo nya den omo nya they know they are aware.
All right, busia for yan to us na yehu se afeyo makin o kasa na yenkotie afeyo ne kasa ne bie na yemra ayepinso afeyo majority leader is a minority kafra
Because have called you this afternoon to address some few concerns regarding the conduct of the Speaker of Parliament. You may recall that Mr. Speaker made some pronouncements on the floor of the House, which resulted in the NDC minority caucus proclaiming themselves to be the so-called new majority. Speaker subsequently at a pre-sitting meeting, after the Supreme Court has stayed his ruling, said to us as leadership that he has not declared the NDC as the majority. Neither has he expressed a constitutional opinion on those 4 individuals, and that what he did amounted to an opinion that he expressed on the statement by Honorable Kesil Atoforsen. At the said pre-sitting meeting, I, on behalf of my colleagues, the majority, inquired from Mr. Speaker whether our friends who were seated to his right would be allowed by him to sit there, because that was not their rightful place, in view of his own admission that he had not proclaimed them as such nor declared them as such. Speaker responded that indeed sitting arrangement of Parliament was a responsibility of the clerk to Parliament. This took me to the next step of inquiring from the clerk whether he allowed the NDC minority to sit on our seats. He said, indeed, we had our name tags, that is the MPP majority had their name tags at those seats that we already occupied, and that it was not he who did that. So obviously, one was expecting Mr. Speaker to direct the NDC to do the right thing. He refused. Subsequently, Mr. Speaker engaged the Council of State, or perhaps let me say the Council of State held meetings with Mr. Speaker as a majority leader and leader of government business and leader of the House. I had the opportunity to also meet with them. The understanding I had from the meeting as a sequel to the meeting they had already held with Mr. Speaker was to the effect that Mr. Speaker will direct the NDC minority to sit at their right place, which is the left of Mr. Speaker. That was the understanding I had. I subsequently had a call from the Peace Council. The Peace Council informed me that they had engaged Mr. Speaker on the issue before Parliament, and Mr. Speaker had indeed indicated to the Peace Council that he had not ruled, neither has he proclaimed the NDC minority, and that should we resume or should Parliament reconvene, the NDC minority will go back to their seats. Several other prominent Ghanaians, who for some good reasons I would not want to mention their names, who had engaged Speaker on this matter, had also reached out to us, the majority caucus, and assured us that Mr. Speaker's engagement with them resulted in he admitting that indeed there was no such ruling, which ruling would now proclaim the NDC as a so-called new majority. Now, from the horse's own mouth, granted that all these prominent people misrepresented to us, the majority, yesterday, Mr. Speaker himself, in his press conference in the afternoon, enumerated a number of things. Amongst them, he said he had not made a ruling. He told the whole of the country that he had not made a ruling. So, if he claims that what he did was a formal communication in response to a statement from the minority leader, then why is he supervising chaos? in the House. What Mr. Speaker did today amount to supervising chaos and bringing the image of democracy to disrepute.
Yes.
The NDC minority members were all over claiming that we, the majority, did not attend a so-called business committee meeting that they called. Who are they? When did we constitute a new committee in Parliament? I chair the business committee of Parliament. And when the clerk to Parliament asked for the business committee meeting, I was very explicit that the subject matter of the recall, which was approved by Mr. Speaker, is a very matter for consideration. So there's no need to have another business committee. Business committee is to decide on the business of the House. On this occasion, you have made an application, which application has been granted. And the items that were approved were the very things to be decided on. So I directed that the order paper should be printed to reflect all those items. Fortunately, Mr. Speaker himself read the two letters, the first one and the second one that amended the first, and indicated to the whole country that indeed our deputy majority whip, the second deputy majority whip, had actually sent those letters to him. He acknowledged him as such. Clearly, the NDC is on a war path. They want confusion in this country. They want lawlessness in this country. And all these are being supervised by Mr. Speaker.
Yes.
It is sad. It is very sad. And I would want to entreat you, the media, to call them out, to call the NDC out, to call Mr. Speaker out. Because what is it? What at all is the issue? You have made a ruling which you now say is an opinion. We disagreed with you. We've gone to another forum where, by law, that forum has the power to interpret the law. We respected Mr. Speaker's ruling. In all of these, my first interview after his ruling was to the fact that I respect him, I disagree with him, therefore my colleagues and I were withdrawing from the chamber and will pursue the matter at the Supreme Court, which matter he was already aware was pending at the Supreme Court.
Look at this.
And I will repeat the point I made a week ago. Mr. Speaker had assured me in the presence of the second deputy speaker, Honorable Ama, in his office, that in view of the pendency of the suit, although the NDC had filed that petition, which petition was mounted by Harun Idrisu, he would hear them, but will wait and abide the decision of the court. I was fair enough, I was transparent enough to have engaged him as a head of this assembly, that because Haruna had raised the issue and to avoid confusion, I was going to the Supreme Court to seek interpretation. I did not go to Supreme Court in bad faith, and it wasn't the case that a matter was happening in Parliament and I ran away to the Supreme Court. I ran away from Parliament to Supreme Court to seek refuge. No, I foresaw confusion. And indeed, what Harun Idrisu filed, why did they set it aside? Harun Idrisu had initiated a process under Order 99 of our rules, which will require a process to be set in motion. Why did they suddenly come under Order 93, which allows for a statement, when in the history of this Parliament since 1992 did a statement metamorphose into a motion, which motion now will require a ruling? You see, Speaker is setting the country on fire. Yesterday, we were disappointed.
He's setting the country on
with
fire.
His non-reconciliatory posture during this press conference.
Hey!
Indeed, we, the majority caucus, call on Mr. Speaker one more time to demonstrate statesmanship. We want Mr. Speaker to know that although we were not happy on the day he was elected, some of our colleagues perhaps has seen something good in him. It wasn't the NDC that put him there for him to do the bidding of the NDC. Perhaps people felt that he could be someone who will bring all of us together. Yes. There are things that we cannot say into the camera. But Mr. Speaker is hurting democracy. Yes. What Mr. Speaker is doing is to rehearse what the NDC is likely to do should they lose power, to bring chaos, to cause confusion. How can Mr. Speaker say that he respects the Constitution, but he will not subject himself to the dictate of the judiciary? How can you say that the judiciary is in collusion, is colliding with the president, and you mention the president as a person, as an individual?
Of course.
How? What Mr. Speaker is doing is in bad faith. First of all, he subjected himself to the jurisdiction of the Supreme Court. And after losing at the Supreme Court, he turns around to attack the Supreme Court. His own lawyer, my respected senior Tadiusori, in court, argued forcefully that Mr. Speaker made a ruling, and he sought to justify the so-called ruling and even challenge the jurisdiction of the court in entertaining my application. For him, the matter comes under Article 99 of the Constitution and not under Article 197. 97 G and H of the Constitution. To the NDC lawyer, to the Speaker's lawyer, who had received firm instructions from the Speaker, the position of the Speaker was home and dry, was on all fours right, and that Mr. Speaker had ruled, and that those members could not come to Parliament. Again, he had emphasized that the right forum was the High Court. Yes. All these points canvassed by Mr. Speaker's lawyer were overruled. The matter was heard in the full glare of the public. There was a live broadcast of the Supreme Court proceedings of that day. The ruling of the Supreme Court has been procured by me as plaintiff. The Supreme Court bailiff has served the ruling, the second ruling, on Mr. Speaker. His lawyers were given up to 3rd of November to file their written submissions, statements of case in defense, if any. So what are all these, perhaps I call it ex cathedra statement of Speaker, creating an impression as though those statements he's making are an authority on their own. It cannot be. A true Democrat will respect the rule of law. Yes. And that is why we decided to respect him. You know, ladies and gentlemen of the press, NPP, our tradition is to respect rule of law. Yes. It's out of deference to Mr. Speaker. That is why we did.
Supreme Court is supersede Parliament. There's the whole Ghana no Supreme Court ekasa obian ntimi no a obetimi attend Supreme Court kasa. Yeah. Utie yewura Bagbin na ndro kasa no o make instances a similar situation and de na ekoyie mamu Supreme Court anka hwe obia anka hwe Supreme Court fon. Yes. Inti no o make we say yanhwe ye ya ekwana ye fa so kra nsam ejebi na ye dibi no kra na ema ye gu yankasa ye mra ho fi. Yes. Na be asemwe aka 30 days na ye koto aba o. Even constitution na nkasa kra akire say eka 3 months which is 90 days na se seat ye declare seat vacant or parliament ya ene kwan say yes anso copy representative. Na unim say we MPP for ankasa kra anso constitution say we Emrase bedwani na wotu ko for me we ya
independent
so mo keke film
na we want me kura nko school kura go to
omo akura mra no
yes
omo asese wo kan ye ho na se wotu ko for me independent a ese yi film
yes
ye ja okwan na woko wonka ye ho ni mu hide na mo amahye mra da ho na fidie ye
afenyo markets ogu afenyo markets ugu party no opre ne ho dodo
oh Leonard
opre ne ho
opeso che so Leonard
dabi abi onye Leonard na we me am in law school ayi obi a on law school Ghana fo a onko school dampo abi onim se de afenyo markets ye sabi enye nyansasem esenka oyusu fie nyansa ba bia adu no eye fie nyansa o enya mra adentira council of state eko afenyo market hokobo na baso so afenyo wo patch as council of state so omo abu mra so na so omo ni mra wo afenyo markets utipene council of state no nipa odwene se nipa na ofri fia ya tete no bia nim se de afenyo markets ne MPP fo ye no parliament ho no emfa kwa mu nyansa bia nim wo law na wo kotu nya wo kwa na wakọ law school obi susu nimra no se no ye misa se we na ye the first issue a happen wa parliament ho ana de ehu kura a happen but omo yusu fie nyansa etna asese nipa edwene Ghana ho de emra no ne mtotoya no to de esese de to wo afenyo markets mo the government business kura ba NDC for minority kura pese omo sorry gina na omo sorry tia the same speaker ya ene mo boni trisui na wachi mu nyina akwa akwhye dan mu na wakasa kire NDC leadership se omo nwene Ghana ho kan memo omo nya no politics na omo nyintum se de be ya oman no bekoso na speaker ya sanso akrokro mo adada omo eno de wa ma abontia meka hwe eno de wa nkukura mfa nko Supreme Court ene de wo number so ate a ye nyina ye nim se wo number so ate no afa na wapaja ene wunim obi a wo kọ ho abe the problem that we are facing today if you will blame be blame a se afenyo marken se ofrifia ya tete ni wo fie na NPP fo penokora they should blame frema opare na akofa problem we nyina aba but MPP fo makamano atum enu ntina mo munhum ho ano no se problem ba na sa asem sifia be yesi dua a ebe wo wani no yetu ase ye ntwaso NPP fo de omutwaso na etwaso a omutwaso ebe fifi sanya frema opare kromfo frema opare abe radio station nka ho eyeme frankadane na America kromfo frema opare awia Ghana sika ama ne boys kuranya sika sa omokọ akọpe MP edi sika koko tu suhum NPP MP no a nka be nka we nyina aba nka suhum NPP MP nka obekọ independent but MPP fo nya atwemfo mo ya kromfo nti mo kamano atum eba ne sana sa problem we aba sanya akromfo a mo Jubilee House ho no mo awiawia sika to the sense bodyguards nyina atimi anya sika ekope MP akufo ado bodyguard nene onkope MP adi na nkanya fofo na ayefo a nka akufo ado bodyguard atimi anya sika se okwa akope MP adi ukọ Jubilee House a wohwa nipa bi mo a mo tete Jubilee House ho krono nti omo abọ krono a ma na so mu nyina so anyinya sika ekope MP adi nya na akofa problem na aba no na mu be kofie ane abi fora me se mu be kofie mu be kofie ubeko abansa kan yes ubeko unko abe enra mama George na ka asembi eya me de papa Trump ompam ye Ghana for Ghana ni bia wote America ha na woni papers na wo support NPP bia kokurom Trump we dey asro pam ye Ghana ni biya ya support to NPP biya no. That means NPP aya de pa we kurume boa. Na ko kurom so ya no so Yesu.
Nneoma pa wa ya no monko.
Nneoma pa wa ya no kona kwa enjoy abe we Yesu. Nti ade na o se wotan Trump. Wo se woti America ha, wo se na nado wa ya Ghana ma ebinsi da. Ene Trump si ko kurom. He Trump
every day Liberia for ya the buses.
Ane
from Budumbura msuya won call back.
Sir.
So omunko
kurom.
Omunko enso.
Yes. We dey kwa dem for Trump so.
Omo dey play me ba be si o.
Say Trump pam omo a. Trump mpam omo a. Omo support NPP. Na nado dem kwa kufu ado aban. Trump mpam omo na o kurom ha illegally a. Ompam no. Onkonkot na se Ghana ayede. Na wo de wo se wo tu mfuturo gu Ghana fuani. Said the America for Ashisha won cross even say America for leaders. Eya akronfo a at least hiani obi ahoto no ha. Obi ahoto no. At least so omu wie mpo a omu wie bi mano so obi aso ma obi ahoto no. Ye nyina ye te kromu ha yenim de ekoso. Se wote ha kwampa so, se wuni ha kwampa so, aba no hwew obo ho ban ehwe wo yire ne wo ma mo ma ko school kama every year bia no aban ebo ho ka $17,000 no wo de kwa Ghana skama be almost $2.8 billion Ghana cedis. That 2.8 billion Ghana cedis no the whole Ghana fo nyina free SHS afimu ni nyina nko na wiye just 2.1 billion. Etina chese oba America ha sika America ban esen wo akwada ba akubia ho no eso sene sika na nado danko akufu ado esen wo Ghana education system the whole year
about 2.8 billion
and
on
one child ukwa Ghana the whole Ghana educational system 2.1 billion a year. Yes, the whole Ghana school for Ghana nyina mo se wote America ha wo se free SHS nti yansan so nkwato aba mana nado you bad free America ha fare ko school wa Ghana awudifo
chale by party fo omo asa ye
mesi abe omo diomanawu
but am one say timemu funhu and they are making noise womo diomanawu they know what is good.
Yes,
sorry if you're if you so agro na ye de yapon so ye time so
na be na about 7:38
na enama pon 7:45
and then you 7:45 okay and then me for 5 minutes you know
5 minutes is too much.
Okay my men for 3
okay 3 p go na emu ya de
minyan try o ne kokot
and now kokot
ai
obi bia ya hyehyɛ ewie wai woni how
amen
we yankunimdifo
amen yo mamenchia tiefo mamenchia frank na mostly at 2.1 hana moka no Ghana cedi na old currency
2.8 billion no old currency.
That be added na muka old currency asem.
My entry na Ghana for that year. That is
280,000 Ghana cedis.
Yes, 280,000 Ghana cedis. Akwadaba could be America ha.
So free SHS no a billion.
A free SHS na the whole Ghana afimu no nyina no abana spend 210,000. 2.1.
210,000 Ghana
dollars.
Ghana cedis.
That be bro.
2.1 billion, which is 210,000 Ghana cedis.
2.1 billion.
1 billion.
Na bede na omu konia eduane mankora ya.
Old currency and now say new currency.
Old currency 2.1 billion.
New currency me about 200 and something thousand na mo kanu.
I free SHS.
Aye.
That be the whole 8 years so na 9.9 billion no.
Ghana cedi.
Ghana cedis. The whole 8 years no. and I 9.9 billion Ghana cedis. Enuru 10 billion. 8 years.
3.5 million now Ubejama new work no. So saying 3 years 8 years no.
Why? Now 8 years just enuru 10 billion. Abe would multiply 2.8 by 8. Are you saying?
Uh-huh.
2.8 by 8. 22.4.
2.8 by 8.
Oh dear, Mama Chiara,
yes.
JCOP.
If you would have clear way. So the whole 8 years, no, America buying a boka was suku akwada, basic school, Ghana and primary, no, that is 22.4 billion. 8 years, no.
Yeah, new currency.
That a new currency, no. I am no Montiase. Mamen can we now Montiase. Oh, do not.
Omote.
That is. But Okwa Ghana the whole 8 years no the whole Ghana 8 years ni MPP almost yam tonyon from no e car omo agba no suku nkwada ho enuru 10 billion. What the America ha obako suku 8 years no ya born ho ka 22.4 billion. What's a Ghana de ye? Ah Christ kasa if you ura to aso
yo minyo pank na dasi na enra abe mikasa wiye no papa bi beka say America independent wa ha ana mo jesu te ani ana wo san aka say sense wo hwemu a two parties and a ruling Democrat and a Republican enti de betimi a yen so yen dane MPP ni NDC sa
and then
abe so kai
me ka ba am sama mfama dwanko eno so nkam yi na no
aha one one for dwanko ho nti me te ye no nam say papa ipa de asam na wo kan abaya ye tu ye Senate no independent for we ni bi pa na ye twa Republicans ni ye Democrats and padinfo a bete sa party ya omode chichire America man no ompuntu a any problems a omusi aye a omutim di chichire wo man no ebi na Ghana NDC ni MPP ye snow eto a gas bes 100 timi pimpim mu enso sa party mi no abanya obedi so no timi nya dade ene nkro omo adwene mu dot na se kwa ba ne be fa so snow eto a ye beti na ye kwan so ye de buo ene nchine be fra na ye de aguso emaka empimpim anti Democrats any Republicans
full coverage for just $39 a month.
Almost solve problems of the country. Now, my sign adrenaline of my man home, a nipano, and until I'm about to hire Modeno. Muka said, Snow na etonwa, a na kata kwansono. And before the answer for one finding solutions to their problems. And then snow twa. Na yetimi ate na kwa no wa drive what timi akwa adwuma
Eviera
eja
jina so na me nkofa emergency kakra ai ma me nko join news if say honorable Kennedy nso kasa na ye hwe de honorable nso ka ho na ye mfem aba
be speaking, but it's absurd to see grown-ups, members of parliament, behaving the way we are behaving. It's simple. For peace sake, how many weeks left for the country to go through all what is going through? Don't think it's only MPP. It's Ghana going through these challenges. The way things are going, I believe that next month is going to be Christmas, and workers are not even going to have their salary because Parliament we have to approve. So media, You know, I decided not to talk, but what I saw at the conference center when I was coming, I've been treating you, I'm pleading with you to be very objective. You see, taking entrenched position to support a political party will not help this country. And if you know the power of the media, if you do your work well, the respect you earn, I'm begging you, you are jeopardizing your positions in society because of the way some of you politicize issues, and it won't help this country. We all want to move forward. I personally don't care whoever wins, so long as we have a peaceful country that you can breathe. I've been to war-torn countries, and I know the sufferings some people are going through. That is why I don't preach for war. If not, I would have also encouraged whatever going on. I want to be the fate of the country. Today I shouted at my young man because he asked me a question, why are you running away? You know, how can I run away? Let me tell you what actually happened this morning, which the leader did not address. You saw me in going to the, I even entered the chamber. We were at a caucus meeting. So we took a decision that, look, Ken, go with the leadership, engage the speaker and the NDC people, then we go in. Because we heard they are sitting on our side, which is the right-hand side of the speaker. So go and engage the speaker. Unfortunately, when we got there,
well, we'll bring you updates from Parliament, but right now we'll go for a quick break. We'll be back shortly.
Evira.
Abe.
Honorable Akasa.
Aye.
Akasa.
Na me to amasem so no. Honorable de said that be our media for no koko. Say o man be say a ejina omo so. Na media for no so aye o madwen say aban bia wo power. On be gin sika na o makasa ma no. If say media for no makatua nye. Yintu o makapapa. Nanka aban papa ene hyehyɛ papa ɛwɔ Ghana ɛfa katuasɛm ho a anka menyi ni sɛ media for no so ɔmbɛdane akrɔmfoɔ ɛne atotobotomfoɔ saa ɛne nti ɛnde ɔmo amanyɔfoɔ no ɔmo asɛm a ne tenten ne tietia mu nyinaa ɛne sɛ moma yɛnyina saa NDC ne MPP ya timpen ne akapempen ne me na me pani na wo na ayɛ ketewa na me na me yɛsei no Ghana fo nyina yɛnka yɛhumbom na yɛhu sasase no yɛyɛ dea efisɛ saa party we mienu no entimi stop problems a Republicans and Democrats ebedi ade a ɔmo solve ɔman ne problem no NDC ne MPP and solve ɔman ne problem na ebo ɔmo de bi bɛka ho na ɔmo de ɔmo yɛyie na yebeto aba okuzato abrakwa akosesa hair dryers any sewing machines say what they better chama ne mpeso asofo if you say yebeto aba and na Frank e can say adenti na yebeto aba nko ana MP ekai say eze say okoye ne mpeso aso okoye ne manfo adoye etimu amu preach America a Democrat any Republicans no o ba ye no na wo hwe American history no saa na omo ye ena ma Democrat any Republicans etimi build America and wo abeten ha o kase what the heaven on earth we Frank nyawo de no
if you are time no e kododo me pon
erinti ye besre mu amo say Democrats and Republicans, two parties, and a teacher of mine. Omo teacher of mine, a compuntum, and a Ghana, so NDC in the MPP, no. Omu chichiro oman no do oman no hwe ho mo man for bre omu ntimi solve problems. And into ye hian kabom na ye nyina ya jojo ne yetimi asi ye man no. Enu nti ana Kwame Nkrumah otosu mienu aba ye friend ne chada ani din na Kwame Bediako. Mama ye nto aba no ma no na maburu no amodoso no. Mu brenie munya mo mampani na mu nkokorafo no montena se na maburu no nya adwuma empadwane momuni na mu hu se mo so mabre na mo ma mo wo no yesi de wo hwe o ma o sin fifi ye no o ne sipitu a won so hwe no eti mo bra madu a mo sin atutui montena se na maburu no emfa o man no no mu nsi na nya kama na mo so nwu a yetimi asie mu se de ese abe mami fancy ya nyumra ya beto akomeda
de pa we do bosha so nyame nhira o Frank yeah ko na amse amanfo ekeka se MPP ekeka kire ahemfo bi se na Kwame Bediako ya sei omu vote nti se oba omu aso ya omu mpam no
we NPP for the ombe
Ntino oyo hene na Kwame Bediako ba waso ya manage how you handle him manage geneso
Wabi and omwaka their hands forth will put eye on it because along the line no menya news to be say ohini bi make such an attempt but man sheda mfamani anko but 50 sabreak with 30 days ya kaide we are going to have a close eye into ohene kra obeye sa no ya do beto level we no mercy for the cripple
where what you display to the people is that you show them opulence display of cash. What it does is that it doesn't build a modest Ghanaian who wants to help build a nation and benefit from their hard work. So to be a leader, the kind of opulence display he displays, I think there's something wrong with it.
And not the chief say, so we a leader now who display cash ma crofwa and a good sign of leadership. But recently, even primaries, ye disika gu car boot esi polling station one comment.
Yeah, we say okateche free fire you be a ordinary train and enam. Unso no on shada ne adwuma bia owo. Inti the source of income no eye the oye. Yes. Inti nobody should take a okateche free fire for serious. And I can tell you, Brana oye juma wo one radio station almost sake no ho be ye mobopa. Enti o de common bre ekote ayi radio ayi ono so kote in the YouTube and in the Facebook say for the records. And ono so start ye na no so ankankusiaga. And na ye san so far no in the radio ayi Angel. Enti Yakofan in the angel no so create a scene. Hey, Abi, I can tell you. Juma ya ye. Say I dare say the arguing and namna sikana yepa. We can get a whole lot of money.
Oh, yes.
Yes. Because we have the information. Until the only thing is Kenya a boss of pine. We na omo ba na sikana ye den na e basa. Aha. I don't know katache free fair you know. Nobody should take him serious. He knows the right thing, but he has seen say politicians, and especially in this election year, ubenyeskapa. Unso bekaya ne boss no ka say NPP for no more friend say unya idea o ye no ne ade na NPP for no kura bi hu no katachi afrifa. Yeah, that is how it is. Intino a way a omode pesca agenda. Na say ma menchiro NDC for at first na omoton there are some people in NDC omoton information the MPP for.
Oh yeah.
No magiska. We bisa say abronye DC. Bisa say what is the relation between abronye DC and Sammy Jamfi? Bra Sammy Jamfi started a firebrand. Bra abronye started a firebrand. What is the relation between Sammy Jamfi, abronye and Erica J? Time I'm quite radio so moody did do a muatem no. Abronye na Sammy Jamfi ti abronye fie. Sammy Jamfi Erica J. Or moti abronye fie. Abronye na nehwe omo fidi omo da abronye ho. Yes, I am telling say security won't change that. Me say Sammy Jamfi na oda Sammy Jamfi erekaje no mo da abranya na na ehwe omo. Bisa say dey na koso but omo pia anopa mo nyina na be sore no mo akọ radio na we na ha mo wi na abranya omo ba be hia Accra.
Na say who be Happy FM to a parties.
Yes.
For a japa chale.
Yeah.
Na omo ya NDC ni moto na MPP na kwatre.
Yes. And no put the fans sir.
Obi na mo di station.
Yes.
Omo abatra moto.
Yes. And no put the na but we no de abranya na na hwe omo nyina na to nsa didi o. Te se de abe woni unuanom ne wabusuanfo tifie no saa na te pepepe. Ane edu ti hu sensem because of and nyame na meka wan kasa fo ani geji
madam ose momfa nchame dia obetwa yeah Frank is right, that's a free fat guy is a piece of Nana say at this point if you are still following MPP NDC then there is something wrong with your brain. Miriam Menu, why don't they sit at the minority side and engage at that side? Oh well, omuyama mukotra minority ho pe. Omuyim say decision no be take for a tax waiving enkoso emfa. Nti echiche amuyina abra dia. Recruits, thank you. Joas, meda say mo also ayade. Ankre yaw Aban, good morning. That's my president talking. A man of wisdom, Honorable Ken, we miss you. Oh, Akomko. The Bonnie Godfrey there, Albert Eshen, BBC, George Juke, na Pichola Buska, Kwame, Robertson Dako, Portia, Juliana Che, Simon or Samson Joshua, Mama Bab's cooker there, Mama Bab say, please tell Kofi Adams, yeah, in fact, me who message in them and reading in them. Mama Babs, they are quick to resolve majority and minority, but not about our contaminated rivers. Very important. Mama, Mama Babs,
oh yeah, it's true. Na say there be na emergency ye dangerous na yensu ya.
Yeah, very important. Kweku Yabua, George Mensah, Rebecca Baden, thank you all for your akwesi feature DStv TV Kweku. Me person me acknowledge my presence. Uncle Joseph Srebuo, thank you. Augustine Abuaje, Mama Georgina Bafo, Franca J. God bless all of you. God bless all of you for your time. Unfortunately, time will not permit me to continue. Yami Adoma Emre Yabasai Abba. We have much time, enough time to discuss. Hey, Emre cry baba dear. Mo project go baby. You better try. Eradin shiramu ina na until ne mu nchiramu. Ghana yabaji Ghana si ho. Oh yes. Yabaji Ghana si ho. Sure. Yabaye yie. Mamenhwe Star Web Ghana so Mama Babs wo ho mo and George Asante Reda Avatim omuyina aba Star Web Ghana. God bless all of you. We love you for your kind contribution, kind heart and your support to Ken's Jersey Radio and TV. Make sure someone subscribe my why subscribe to the channel, share it around, like the page programs, and let us grow it bigger. Abeiku Krano, if you call me say we are a board member, I have to put your name down. Be a board member of Ken's Jersey Radio and TV for the diaspora. God bless all of you. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Bye bye.
Kanafwe yedi biamba yamo peno abeja we ye galansu yensu kroji a yasefri yankasa yensu mu Ghana ha ensu yi etise tea pepe galansu yedi nubuna bi te se asene
cyanide, mercury, and then yakeka ho. Edia wono. Uyobia, uyobolotwe. Anasa upesa usote. Num galencio na wachi. Na ubefo eso sokodia. Unya slim tibia. Anasa uyobia baba foji usika. Uji sika udi beyuti. Enya num galencio sesia. Na mekamechira wose utinyi na. Ebe to twat of form. Na waya sakora. Anasa uyobia uyama tim. Enya num galencio sesia. Na ebe fawusa fasidrono. Ubeji unsuru nyina agu form. Uyo penfo. Upesa ubansa doso. Anane nine eye bebrebe. Enya num galencio sesia. Na ubani nsane ne nine. Ebe ye bebrebe. Ase kwa nanse. Anasa uyobia weninka. Ana uyobia wuntumina. Num galencio sesia. Na mesha ubose. Ubeda unsori bie. Galencio. Ensu ayese ti. Galencio. Obonsamposu. Inkratwe. FDA ajiatum. Galencio enyema amanyofo. Amanyofo abusuafo. Ene ahemfo abaton asase ede ye galamse. Galencio.